This one's going to be hard, ladies and gentlemen. We got hit with some heartbreaking news a few hours before the Raptors game. Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi died in a helicopter crash near Calabasas. And it was really heartbreaking to hear. At the beginning, a lot of people thought it was a lie. You know, these type of things, when they come up on the news, you don't believe it right away, because legends like that aren't supposed to die. He's an iconic person, and he's one of the best players to ever play the game. And for him to die at the age of 41 is not something that would come across your mind at all. He gave 20 years of his life. He dedicated 20 years of his life, starting off from the age of 17 in high school, coming out of high school, to the age of 37, to give us memories to remember and to learn from and look up to as a person, and so we could strive for greatness. And for him to finally start the second part of his life and to spend the time he missed when he was playing the game with his family, and for him to be taken out of the game this soon, is the most saddest thing you can ever hear of. The Raptors started the game off. Well, the Raptors and the Spurs, they gave a tribute video, obviously. Or tribute, like not a tribute video, but they put him on the big screen and they had a moment of silence. And then DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry got together and they agreed on the fact that both teams would dribble out the clock and get a 24-shot clock violation, or 24-second violation, because Kobe Bryant wore the number 24. So that's how the game started. That's when it hit reality for me, and that's when I realized this was no joke and this was legit, and that he is gone for real, but he'll never be forgotten. All right, so I'm going to get into the first part of the game, break it down for you quarter by quarter. Starting off in the first quarter, the Raptors came out hot in that quarter. They were scorching the Spurs from beyond the arc. Pascal Siakam made 5 out of the 9 threes the Raptors had in total. In that first quarter, he was 5 of 7 from 3, 9 of 12 from the field. He had 25 points in that quarter. That's a franchise record in Raptors history. Pascal Siakam starting to get his groove again, showing why he should be an all-star starter. And he had it going. He was cooking the Spurs in that first quarter. Raptors led by as much as 19. But at the end of the quarter, they were only up 37-21 because, was it Derek White? I know Derek White hit a 3 at the end of one quarter. I don't know if it was the first quarter or the second quarter, but yeah, they were up 19 at most, and then they ended up leading the quarter by 16 at the end of the first quarter. Raptors shot 52% from the field and 50% from beyond the arc, and they had 11 assists on 13 made field goals. Going to the second quarter, Spurs, their interior defense was nowhere to be found. Serge Ibaka literally had 3 driving dunks in the paint with no one standing in front of him. Raptors had 21 assists on 23 made field goals in that quarter, and they were shooting they shot 49% from the field and 41% from beyond the arc. Pascal Siakam had 30 points in that first half. He only had 5 in that second quarter. OG Anunoby played really well, though. He had 10 points at the half. He had a few buckets. I would say I think if my eyes aren't lying to me, I felt like he had 7 points in that second quarter. Kyle Lowry had a nice and one layup off a nice Marc Gasol feed. And those were the main things that happened in the second quarter. All I can say is that this game felt like a tale of two halves, and the Raptors were dominating for majority of that first half. Third quarter comes out, though. This is when the third quarter started, halfway through the third, it felt like the game that we played against San Antonio at home, where we were in control the whole game, and then all of a sudden we went on cruise control and Spurs snuck back in and somehow got the W. And that's what the vibe felt like in the third and fourth quarter, because the Spurs came out and shot 8 of 10 from beyond the arc in the third quarter. Raptors only shot 1 of 8 from beyond the arc, and the Raptors' field goal percentage went down from 49% to 46%, and their three-point shooting went from 41% to 34% after 3 quarters. Fourth quarter, Spurs come back on they start the quarter on a 7-0 run. Marc Gasol, Pascal Siakam, Norman Powell all helped the Raptors respond with the 14-0 run to take a 103-97 lead. The thing was, the Raptors were up at the end of the second quarter. They were up 63-51, and then at the end of the third quarter, they were only up 86-85. And then the Spurs went up at one point 97-89, and from that point on is when the Raptors took that 14-0 run, or went on that 14-0 run, and they took a 6-point lead. And take this in, I think Phoenix just broke their record, not their record, but they broke their losing streak in San Antonio recently, and the Raptors had a chance to do it tonight, which they did, obviously. But the last win that the Raptors had in San Antonio was December 28, 2007. So it's been 13 years since they won in San Antonio. They're on a 10-game losing streak going into this game, and he got tight at the end. DeRozan started drawing fouls, got one on Norman Powell, got one on Siakam, and then he got a nice little floater mid-range shot and tied the game at 105. Steady Freddy came out. He hit a big 3. He hit 2 clutch free throws at the end of the game. But those 2 clutch free throws that he got only came because Kyle Lowry got a deflection off DeJounte Murray and got the possession back. Those are the type of plays that aren't counted for on the stat sheet, but Kyle Lowry is always there at the right time, making the smartest move, getting us extra possessions to help us win a ball game, and that's what he did tonight. And Raptors officially end their 10-game losing streak in San Antonio and split the season series 1 apiece this season, which they also did last year when Kawhi Leonard was on the team. The only thing was the wins were vice versa, as in we won at home and they won at home, and this year we each won on the road. Overall, players of the game, Pascal Siakam is going to get the player of the game because, it felt like he was going to go for a career high based on having 30 points in the first half, but he only had 5 in the second. He had, in 37 total minutes, he had 35 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 12 of 23 from the floor, 6 of 9 from the free throw line, 5 of 11 from the three-point line with 1 steal, 2 turnovers. Marc Gasol was one of the main factors on that run that the Raptors went on when they were down 8 to the Spurs, 97-89. He had 8 points out of the 14 when they went on that run. And those 8 points was all he had for the game, but they came at a very crucial moment, and it's a big reason to point it out because he was the missing piece to our loss against San Antonio at home because he did not play that game. But in 36 minutes, he had 8 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 of 9 from the field, 1 of 1 from the free throw line, 1 of 6 from the three-point line, and that's it. No steals, no blocks. Kyle Lowry, 37 minutes, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 of 14 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 1 of 7 from the three-point line with 1 steal, 2 turnovers. Fred VanVleet didn't have his best game, played 40 minutes, but had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 of 15 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 of 10 from the three-point line, and 4 steals and a block. Ibaka, 22 minutes, had a double-double, 12 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 of 12 from the field, no free throw attempts, took 1 3 but missed it, and he had 2 steals and a turnover. OG Anunoby, I told you, he had 10 points. Basically, that's all he had. so he didn't score after the second quarter. But in 24 minutes, he had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 of 8 from the field, no free throw attempts, 2 of 5 from 3, 1 steal, 1 block. And for the Spurs, oh yeah, by the way, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson went out with an ankle sprain, did not return. I'm not going to get into the stats of the guys that really didn't do much, but I just wanted to put that out there in case none of you guys, if any of you guys didn't see it. And obviously Patrick McCaw was still out, didn't play with the facial contusion. But for the Spurs, DeMar DeRozan, homegrown Raptor, ex-Raptor, 35 minutes, had 14 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, kind of flirted with the triple-double. 4 of 9 from the field, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Took 1 3 but missed it, and 2 turnovers. Didn't look like, it's not one of his best games against us, but, he almost did come through for them at the end. Brian Forbes in 26 minutes, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 12 from the field. No free throw attempts, 3 of 7 from 3, 1 steal, 1 turnover. DeJounte Murray, when the Spurs went on that run, he went on a mini 6-0 run by himself with the back-to-back threes. But in total for the game, in 25 minutes, he had 13 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 of 12 from the field, no free throw attempts, 3 of 4 from 3, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 3 turnovers. Derek White came into the game, 28 minutes, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 11 from the field, 4 5 from the free throw line, 2 5 from the three-point line, no steals, 4 blocks, 6 turnovers. And Marco Bellinelli, former Raptor, 18 minutes, 12 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists, 3 of 8 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 3 of 7 from 3, and that's about it. Rudy Gay really didn't do much, so I'm not going to get into his stats. And LaMarcus Aldridge, 35 minutes, had a double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds, no assists, 3 of 6 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 1 of 2 from the three-point line, and 1 turnover. All in all, Raptors get it done. They end the streak in San Antonio, break that 10-game losing streak, finally get one after 13 years. They continue their winning streak, and it goes up to 7 now. And they also continue their road winning streak that goes up to 7. And this is the best streak the Raptors have been on thus far, I think. I think this is the most games they've won this season, and it's coming at a really good time because we're finally healthy and we're finally doing some damage to stay at the top of the East, because we need to do that. We need that second spot. It looks like Milwaukee's already out of this race. Like, they're already taking the number 1 seed and running with it because they only have 6 losses. But everyone else, including the Miami Heat, Boston Celtics, Indiana Pacers, Philadelphia 76ers, those 4 teams and us, for a fact, it's going to be a tight race till the very end. But our next game that's coming up is going to be against the Atlanta Hawks. And that is on Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. And then the game after that is against the Cavaliers in Cleveland. But the Atlanta Hawks game is at home. So I'm pretty sure they're going to give Kobe Bryant a solid tribute video. A lot of those 81-point clips will probably be on there. And I hope they give him a tribute video, and I hope they give him a nice standing ovation, a nice moment of silence, a moment of silence for the loss and what the families are going through, and a standing ovation for everything he's done for us and all the positive things he's brought to everyone's lives, for all the kids that have picked up basketballs and made it to the NBA looking up to him and all of that, just everything. It's just so sad. Who would have thought that the day after LeBron James passes Kobe Bryant for the 3rd all-time, scoring leader, like being the 3rd all-time scoring leader and passing Kobe Bryant, that you would think something like this would happen after he congratulated LeBron James on Instagram and on Twitter. The man was an 8-time champion. He was a 18-time All-Star, a 5-time NBA champion, a 2-time Finals MVP, a 1-time regular season MVP, and a 2-time gold medalist. and he's a 15-time All-NBA. For all the people out there that are suffering right now, just think about the good times and just think about all the good memories he brought. Appreciate the fact that he gave us his heart, and he gave his heart to the game, and he gave us 100%, no matter whether he tore his Achilles, messed up his rotator cuff, had a broken finger, a torn meniscus. He always came back and tried to make an impact. The last game he ever played, 60 points on 50 field goal attempts, and the man couldn't breathe. You saw him. He was huffing and puffing out there in his last game. But Shaq, his former teammate, his boy, told him, bro, you better go for 50. The man gave him 60 and got the W against Utah for his final game. And like any legend would do, he said Mamba out and had a mic drop. And that's the type of player he was. Just giving us memory after memory after memory after memory. And his legacy will live on through a lot of people. And my boy Bills is the biggest fan I know of Kobe Bryant. And I know he's hurting right now. And if you're watching this, Bills, I hope you're doing all right, brother. Try giving you a call, but I know you're busy. But honestly, I know you're going through some pain right now, and I hope you're good. And for everyone else out there. But yeah, that's going to do it for this podcast. You know, it's not the typical energy-filled, happy Raptors victory type of podcast. It's really bittersweet because of the sad news we got today afternoon. But if you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you back here for the Atlanta postgame podcast. Till then, stay blessed, stay woke, and show your loved ones some love. Tell them you love them, give them a hug, kiss them, whatever you got to do. Just appreciate them, because you never know. Life is too short. Peace.